Welcome back, everybody. In this video we're creating our first enemy character for a 2D platformer using Unity 6. This enemy will patrol, pause at points, play animations, damage the player, be stomped on, and drop a collectible when defeated. So let's get into it. This time we're in our level 1. I know the last few videos were in level 2, but I figured to give level 1 some love this time. What we're going to do is go ahead and create a game object. So we're going to create an empty game object. I'm going to go ahead and name this enemy for now. In this, not sure why that was locked, but alright, in this game object we're going to add a rigid body 2D. Let's go ahead and make sure that's dynamic, that the gravity is set to 1, and we're going to go to freeze rotation on it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a box collider 2D, and that way it's prepped for the enemy. Now what I'm going to do here is go to my project folder. I'm going to go to our enemy characters folder, enemies and NPCs. I'm just going to use this little ant character here. So we're going to open up the sprites folder. And as you can see, our ants, just like everything else, are set to pixel units 100 and bilinear filter mode. I want to change that. So I'm just going to select all of these because this is just the one walking animation that it has. I'm going to change these to the pixels per unit to 16. The bilinear or the filter mode to point, no filter, and press apply. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this ant and drop it over here on the enemy. Now you can see that the enemy and the ant are off, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to put the enemy game object at 0, 0, 0. And I'm also going to put the ant at 0, 0, 0. Now both are lined up. And what I can do here is if I zoom in on the ant a little bit, I can actually, click on the box slider, edit the points, and just bring it down a little bit more. Maybe a little bit over the body. Something like that. It looks good. Alright. Now, what we need to do is we're going to want to add an Animator 2D to this. Or an Animator, not Animator 2D. Oh, sorry. There is no Animator 2D. The Animator handles it for both. Got a frog in my throat or something. That's really weird. So I apologize. I promise I'm not sick this time. So animation is where we're going to go. Our animation tab. I'm going to drag my project folder up here so I can see what I'm doing. And with ant selected in the hierarchy, I'm going to press create. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our assets. I already have the animations folder created because of the player animations, and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to name it ant. No, not ant. Ant. There we go. Alright, first thing I'm going to make is the idle animation. And so this is going to be very simple. There's not a lot going on here. So I'm just going to take this one, the first one, probably the third one, and then the first one again. So if we play that, that's really fast. So let's go ahead and slow that down. Let's go to 10 each. There we go. So there's the idle. Easy enough. Now down here where it says idle, I'm going to press on idle, press create clip, and then this is going to be the walk animation, and this one I'm actually just going to take all of these and drop these in. This time these are going to be about 7 apart for this one. Oops, that one's at 8. There we go. Now we're better. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 28 frames. Six, 7, 8, and then we come up here and take number 1 and bring that down here also. Alright, so now if we play it, we got the nice little walking animation, so that's all set up, right? Alright, so now that we got that all set up, let's go ahead and move our enemy. Where do we want to put him? Let's put him, oops, I don't know why I did that. Let's put him, there we go. Alright. About right here is fine. Now he's being drawn behind the ground, so we need to fix that. So with our ant selected, let's go to sorting layers. We're going to go to add sorting layers. Now this is found in the inspector. We're going to press the plus sign, and this new layer that we just added is going to be called enemy, and we're going to go ahead and drag that up here above the player because we want the player to be drawn above it, but this enemy to be drawn above the ground. Now we need to set our ant character sorting layer to enemy, and now he's being drawn above the ground. The next thing we need to do is we're going to add a tag to the enemy. So click on tag again in the inspector. Right underneath the name, we're going to go to tag and choose add tag. We're going to press the plus sign and we're going to type in enemy. Click on the enemy and then again just add the tag enemy to it. Next thing in preparation, we need to add some control points. So we're going to create 2 empty game objects. So right click in your hierarchy, create empty, go ahead and name it point A. We're going to move this one over to the left. We'll just go with right there. We're going to right click again in the hierarchy, create empty, and name it point B. And then we're going to move this one over here to the right. Do make sure though that your Y values for both points are the same. I don't know, maybe there's a better way of doing it so that you don't have to worry about that, but in my experience when doing control points, if for some reason if he's moving left and right and the Y value is not the same, then it messes with it. And same thing if it's like a vertically moving enemy, so like maybe you have a flying enemy that's just moving up and down and the player has to either jump over it or go under it and time it. If the X value is messed up and they're not on this both on the same X value, then it messes with it for some reason. Alright, if you guys know why that is, just let me know in the comments, or if you know the better way, you know, like I always say, build together, learn together, right? So what I'm going to do next is bring my project window back down. I know it's a lot and it's tedious. There's probably a better way so that I don't have to do that, but this is just for me a preferred method. I don't mind just clicking and dragging a little bit here and there. I'm going to close up the characters. Let's go to our scripts, right? And we're going to create a script for our enemy. So What I'm going to do is right click in our scripts folder, go to create and go to mono behavior script. This is going to be called patrolling enemy. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Alright. So once we open that up, I guess I should actually attach it to my enemy. Let's go ahead and attach it to the enemy real quick. Where did it go? There it is. Alright. Right there. Alright. Once we got it opened up, let's start off with creating some variables. So let's see. We're gonna get our headers in. Forgot my parentheses, so let's go back here. Try this again. There we go. Let's see here. Well, first, we're gonna need a variable to store, our patrol points. So we're gonna go with, actually no, this is movement. Let's stick to movement. So public float move speed. That's gonna be equal to 2f. Public float wait time. We're gonna go ahead and make that equal to 2f as well. And then now we're gonna have our information for the patrol points. First thing is gonna be an array called patrol points. We're gonna have some private variables. I don't know why I put a space there. There we go. Let's see. Private float. Wait. Counter. We're gonna need a boolean in there. We're also gonna need some references to the rigid body. Alright. So our reference to the rigid body again are going to go in an awake function. So let's get our awake function set up. RB equals get component. Get component. There we go. This is going to be our rigid body 2D right there. Now our animator remembers on the ant sprite, so it's actually going to be a child. So we're going to get anim equals get component in children, and it's going to be the animator. Okay, now the start method we're not going to use for right now, but I will use the update. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to want to check to see if it is waiting. And if it is waiting, then we're going to tell it to do a thing. And that thing is we're going to tell the wait counter to start counting down by doing is our wait counter minus equals time dot delta time. And then once the wait counter gets to a point where it's less than or equal to 0, we're going to do another thing, and we're going to switch is waiting to false. Then we're going to start going through our indexes. And from there, what we need to do is, oh, forgot that. All right. No, oh, I don't like that it's all uneven. All right, and let's add our else statement, and we're gonna go ahead and do our curly brackets. And rb.linear velocity, because we're using Unity 6, and that's what they use now. Now we haven't set up the animations yet, so we will have to do that next. Like, we created them, but we haven't set it up in the animator, so we definitely need to do that. But we are going to have a variable that's called isWalking. It's going to be set to false in this portion, and then that's going to be kind of like, so it's saying this first part is saying count down the timer if it's waiting. If the timer gets to the point where it's less than or equal to 0, set waiting to false. And then it's going to start cycling through the patrol points again, so it can start moving, which we're going to code in the movement here in a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to set the Boolean is walking to false, which will then cause the walking animation to switch to idle, and it'll be idle while it's waiting, right? So this is going to tell it to wait and then play the idle one a little bit so it looks like it's waiting. This is going to cycle back through so it can start walking again. Alright. Hopefully that makes sense. Clear as mud. Alright. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up some walking logic. I will say, I do apologize that it's been a while. It seems a little, I guess, uneven, because I've normally posted Godot and Unity tutorials in the same week and tried to keep them together. The Godot tutorials are for my high school class that I teach primarily, because some issues with the district and their IT settings won't allow me to use Unity on the computers there. But I had some emergency repairs we had to do on the house. So while I did make some Godot tutorials for my class and post those, I had to also balance out the repairs also, so I do apologize. I know there was a subscriber that shot me an email asking about that, so thank you for that. I mean, it lets me know that you guys are actually watching and enjoying these, and I'm glad that they are helping. We only have about probably 3 or 4 more sections on this one. And then we'll have to get into a new project. So if you guys have any requests, please let me know in the comments. shoot me an email, stuff like that. I'm always happy to have conversation with y'all. We are working on a new logo. I know there's been one concern that I had an AI generated logo in there before. It's not that I'm pro or anti AI. It was more or less I needed a branding, a logo for the channel, for my company, and while we're focusing on our games, we were able to move one person over to start working on that. So they are working on it. It's currently being colored, and then we're gonna check it out for final approval. And then once that's good, we'll be switching that up. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. What else do we need to do? We need to add in the direction. So we need to, this is going to be something that flips it, right? By flipping, we mean flipping the sprite depending on the direction it's going. So if the move direction is greater than 0, transform.local scale is going to be equal to new vector 3. Now this is going to look a little weird. Normally it would be all ones first, because he's saying if he's moving greater than 0, which means he's moving right. But because the ant was drawn facing left, we're going to do this a little differently. And we're going to put the opposite. So we're going to say flip it -1 on the X, so that it will actually be facing right. And then else. And we can just take and copy, well, after I put in the curly brackets, copy this line right here. And we're going to go ahead and delete that minus sign. And so now it's going to face right. So let's see here. Next thing we're going to go ahead and do is type in math f.abs, because we want the absolute value of the direction of the x direction, and if that's less than 0.1f, oops, what is waiting? There we go. Alright, let's save all that. Alright, so this is our movement logic right here, and when it's walking, we're going to set the boolean for the animator to true. This right here is going to flip the sprite left or right or left, depending on the way it's moving. And then this is going to be telling it to stop the walking animation, set the wait counter to equal to the wait time, set waiting to true, and just kind of pause its movement if the absolute direction of x is less than 0.1f. So this is going to be what's going to cause it to stop at the patrol point and wait. Alright, so let's press Control S and save this, and then let's go into Unity, and with our ant selected, we need to add our patrol points, which we got 2 of them. And let's press play and see what happens. And there's our ant. He's walking, pauses as you just saw, walks to the next point, pauses for a little bit, and we can even shorten the wait time if we wanted to. Alright, and we can increase the speed. Alright, but 2 sounds good. 2 on the wait time is good for right now for our purposes. So, alright. So, now, what are we going to do next? That is a good question. So we're already at 26 minutes. So, I guess this might end up being 2 videos, but let's go ahead and make the enemy hurt the player, right? So, how do I want to do this? I think what I'm going to do is actually just add, I wonder, can I think we can just use the already. I wonder if that's gonna mess with it. It shouldn't, but I'm gonna check. That does mess with it. So we need this to be not a trigger. So we're just gonna make a new one. Let's copy this component and we're gonna paste it as a new one. We'll go ahead and move it back up here. Let's move it up. And this one is gonna be the trigger. And so this is going to be our so what I did was I clicked on the first box collider, I chose copy component, and then I clicked on the dots again, pressed paste component as new, right? So now it's the exact same size as the original, and I set it to a trigger. Okay, so there's no manipulation that we have to do for it. What we are going to do though is add in create a new script. So create new mono behavior script. This one's going to be called enemy hurt player. And go back to Unity so that we can attach it. We're going to attach it to our enemy. We're going to open it up. And inside of here, it's going to be very simple. We're going to go private void on trigger enter 2D. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and change collision to other. If other dot compare tag is the player, oops, then what we're gonna do is alright, so it's going to check to see if what it comes into contact with is the player tag, right, or what the triggers overlap with. And then it's going to look for the player controller script. And then if the player is not equal to null, so if it finds the player, then it's going to run the take damage function. Now, we still have some issues here, right? It says is walkie does not exist, because I forgot to set up the animator. So let's go ahead and click on our ant real quick. It's gonna be very easy. We're gonna click on animator. If you don't have the animator window open, you're gonna go to window, animation, animator, and it'll pop up. All right. With the ant selected, we're gonna see that idle is our default state. Okay. We're gonna make a transition to walk, and we're gonna click on that transition. We're gonna turn off the exit time, set the transition time to 0.1, so it's a quick transition, so there's no like sliding when it stops. All right, turn off exit time. There we go. Now conditions, we're gonna set the condition. Oh, we never set any parameters. That might help. All right, so up here next to layers, there's a parameters button. Press the plus sign. We're gonna add a boolean is walking. It's that simple. All right, now come back over to the inspector and choose plus sign under conditions is walking is equal to true. And then we're gonna make transition back to idle. Click on that transition, turn off the exit time, change the transition to 0.1, and change the condition to is walking is equal to false. Just like that. Go ahead and press Control S to save everything. Let's see here. So now what we should have is, if we press play, our players should take some damage. So let's go ahead and jump up here. Whoop. And we took damage. We're taking another one, and death. There we go. Although for some reason now it's still doing the death animation, which is really weird. All right, but we'll come and fix that in a little bit. All right. So this video is already at 32 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here for now. But we'll be back in another video, probably significantly shorter, where we're going to have the enemy be able to be stomped on, kind of like a Goomba from Mario, and die. We'll probably create a little effect for that as well, and then have it drop an item when it dies. And yeah, so keep learning, keep building. I'll see you in the next one.